Well, my daughter's away at summer camp, her first time ever at sleepaway camp. And I just had oral surgery, so I feel like a big balloon of a mouth trying to talk. But I have the rare moment of the afternoon to myself to rest and to heal. And I've just been thinking about my daughter, and I dropped her off at her first time ever week-long sleepaway camp in the mountains, and it was a real splurge to send her, but I just know it's going to be an amazing experience for her because it was for me growing up, such an important part of my life. But then there's this story of what happened in Texas with the Guadalupe River and the flash floods and these children that died in the middle of the night, and it is so difficult to hold my fear in check about my own child when she's away from me like this, because we just never know if we're going to see our children or the people we love again when they leave the moment that we're in together. The future's just never promised to us. And yet, I understand that when I feel fear in my body, when I recognize it for what it is and I acknowledge it and I say, okay, I feel fear. It keeps coming up within me as I've been away from my child now for a day and a half. And what's ultimately the thing that I want, which is my child's safety, and that she have a wonderful time and connect with one other beautiful soul that she can just have a human connection with. And so every time I feel the fear, instead of giving in and going, oh no, what if this bad thing happens, what if that bad thing happens, and instead of visualizing the bad things that I'm afraid are going to happen, I can instead think about what is the outcome that I want to see achieved for my daughter. I just articulated that, and then I'm going to choose to adjust my thoughts to visualize the good thing that I want to see. I want to see her having fun. I want to see her laughing. I want to see her doing hard things that she can feel proud of herself about. I want to see her take responsibility for her physical cleanliness and, her possessions, and just have such an amazing time, but also learn the responsibility of being away. This is part of parenting, is allowing our children opportunities to learn who they are and to learn to grow and express themselves. And but there's so much to fear as a parent. I think the second I found out I was pregnant, it was a constant battle of the fear within me and how to. So then when I feel the fear, now that I have the new thought form that I want to see accomplished for my daughter, when I feel the fear, I bring it to my heart chakra and I open my heart so that I'm fully grounded, but then the heart is the thing that's anchoring me, and the fear energizes and opens the heart. And then that fear can then energize the thought form that I've chosen to energize for my child to accomplish what it is that I hope to see accomplished for her. And that's the way that I use my thoughts to help assist reality. So when I feel fear and I catch myself visualizing negative things happening, I catch it, and then I say, okay, my thoughts can affect reality. It's like a computer program, so anything is possible. I just have to imagine what it is. And then at the very least, me imagining that can't hurt the other person at the very least. And so I'm going to do that to try to keep the vibration higher and help co-create the positive outcome occurring for my child. And I think we are ultimately more powerful manifestors for ourselves and our children because we still have stewardship over them. And energetically, we have, for the most part, depending if they're stepchildren or biological children, but there's also a cellular connection. And even if they're not biological children, just the fact that you live in the same ecosystem, you are a family, there's a connection that establishes with that, where they sort of give you permission to help them co-create good things in their lives by virtue of, saying, I'm going to be the person to care for you, and I'm going to be the person to provide you what you need so you can grow, and I'm going to be the person to keep you safe while you grow. But ultimately, at a certain point, children need to become responsible for their own safety. And then I feel fear because I'm not there to, well, I guess maybe micromanage that for her. But I can use my logic and I can remind myself that that's ultimately what's best for her. And, I can do hard things too. And so I can learn how to channel my fear into helping co-create something wonderful for her, and also allow her the opportunity to experience who she is. And ultimately, like, these families in Texas and this tragedy, there's so many tragedies, it's not just this one, there's so many, and they're just heart-wrenchingly grieving, and fires and floods and children and war, and it just, the only thing that I can find to make positive about those kinds of things happening, because for them it's not positive, and I just empathize so much with those tragedies. And I think, I think that's my worst fear, right, is losing my child, or making a decision that puts my child in a situation where she becomes injured or dead. Like those parents, when they sent their kids to summer camp that week, thought they were doing this wonderful thing for their children. And there are parents who won't be able to bring their children home next week or this week, and it's a harsh reminder that all we have is the moment that we're with each people. The moment right there when your children are with you. And so many times I found myself being distracted and saying, oh, I have to get this done, or I have to get that done, to remind myself, like, no, I'm here with my family, and I'm going to be present with them. I'm going to put my phone away, I'm going to stop being busy, and I'm just going to find something of intention to do. Spending time with my family, because at the end of my life, those are the most precious moments. And if tomorrow the worst happens, I'll know that I spent the time I had with them as best I could. Namaste. Thanks for sharing and listening to a little bit about this process, and I hope it helps you to be able to learn how you can take experiences and shift the thought forms in ways that can create a more constructive outcome in your life, and then energize that thought form with the fear or anxiety and use it to create magic rather than letting those thoughts control you. And they're still always there. The fear thoughts are still always there. It's just now it's balanced with this other one. And maybe eventually, the less I listen to those fear thoughts and the more I remind myself of the more positive story that I can tell myself about it, then eventually it gets easier and that other voice gets less loud.